Kavakal stands in a place of shadow, not darkness, but a flowing, shifting realm of desaturated, pearlescent hues and streaks of raw blackness, swirling together like a living void. He feels the ground beneath his feet, firm, solid. He knows without seeing it that it's ice, though the surface is obscured. With each step he takes, the sensation of ice becomes more vivid beneath him, though still hidden by shadow. As Kavakal moves deeper into the shadows, a faint, almost playful sound reaches his ears, a chiming laugh, like wind through icicles. From the swirling shadows ahead, the small twilight-colored fairy appears. Her wings flicker with a soft, eerie light, and her eyes narrow as she hovers in front of him. But unlike the gentle warnings she has offered others, her demeanor toward Kavakal is different. There's no kindness in her voice, only sharpness. "Ah, the silent one," she says with a smirk, thinking that strength alone will carry you through. She circles him slowly, her voice cutting through the cold air. "You survived, but we both know the truth, don't we? That strength of yours, it's never been enough." Kavakal's silence deepens, his jaw tightens. "But go ahead," she says with a mocking laugh. "See if it gets you through this." With that, the fairy vanishes back into the shadows, her taunting laughter lingering for just a moment before fading completely. Kavakal continues forward until he reaches the ice block, rising from the ground like a monument of frozen time. Korv stands beside it, his form blending frost and shadow, the edges of his presence both ethereal and imposing. Korv does not speak immediately. Instead, he gestures with a slow, deliberate hand toward the portal forming within the ice, his voice measured when he finally speaks. "Look," Korv begins, his tone calm, though imbued with a weight that only years of contemplation could bring. "What lies before you is not simply power, it is possibility. Observe well." Kavakal peers into the portal, and the first vision unfolds before him. He sees himself, the great haft in hand, walking through an army with devastating force. Foes crumble before him, each one felled with precision and efficiency. With a single swing, he brings down a giant, the weapon shifting to meet each enemy's weakness, striking with an almost intuitive understanding. Korv speaks again, his words slow, deliberate. "Power in and of itself is a fleeting thing. True strength lies not in the force of the blow, but in the mind that wields it. You see advantage. Ah, advantage is the weapon of the wise. To strike is one thing. To strike with certainty, another entirely." The next vision shows Kavakal walking through a battlefield, his cloak of shadow swirling around him. The enemies fall as he walks, frozen by his mere presence. The frost and shadow combine, creating an aura that decimates all in his path. "Presence," Korv continues, his voice taking on a thoughtful, almost scholarly tone. "It is not merely the ability to dominate a space, but to command it, the world. It bends to those who understand the nature of fear, who use it as effortlessly as a sword." The final vision appears, and Kavakal stands above a battlefield, surveying it with a calm, calculated gaze. Around him, the Shadow Council gathers, small figures, flickering and whispering among themselves, their attention on the chaos below. Though their voices are silent, their meaning is clear. They are strategists, observers of war. Kavakal lifts his hand and points decisively to a spot on the field. There, he says, the single word carrying with it the weight of absolute certainty. Korv's voice, now touched with a hint of approval, cuts through the cold air. Tactics, the greatest weapon of all. The mind is the general, the body its soldier. To see the field, to understand the broader scope. That is where victory lies. Power alone is a blunt tool, but power, guided by wisdom, that, Kavakal, is unstoppable. The visions fade, and Kavakal is left standing before the ice block, the shadows and frost surrounding him now still. Korv steps forward once more, his form still a blend of ice and shadow, his eyes sharp and thoughtful. Now, Korv says, his voice soft, yet brimming with expectation. Show me. Prove that you have learned something beyond the weight of your weapon. Show me the depth of your understanding. Which path will you take? Kavakal stands still, the air around him cold, the decision weighing heavily on him. The silence stretches out, the shadows waiting for his choice. The dream ends, with Kavakal facing the portal, ready to choose.